Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow Room. And first, I just have to tell you, I've announced this a million times, but now that it's done, I have to promote it. The Haydn Symphony Crusade is finished. Individual videos, over 50 hours of video stuff and musical examples devoted to every single one of Haydn's symphonies. Please go watch it. Take the crusade. Do it. You'll have a good time. At least I think you will. Anyway, what do we got? We're working backwards through the alphabet. Yeah, and we've got some juicy stuff here. Oh, yes. First, Eugen Jochum. Oh, my goodness. Yes, the Tara recordings, which are actually, these are just licensed from Philips. And, of course, all that stuff now has been boxed up and issued. So no one needs these, but, here they are. Schubert's Fourth, Schumann's Fourth, the Flying Dutchman Overture, the Prelude and Liebestod from Tristan and Isolde, the Tannhäuser Overture, Till Eulenspiegel's Lustiger Streicher, and Don Juan, all by Richard Strauss, with the Concertgebouw Orchestra and the Bavarian Radio Symphony Orchestra, originally issued on Philips. This was how we got these things back in the day. That's why I save these. It's historically interesting to see how these things were released and issued and what we did with them and who licensed them and all that stuff. So these were licensed by Tara. This was volume 2 of The Art of Eugen Jochum. And then we've got Homage à Eugen Jochum. This is with the Concertgebouw Orchestra, issued by kind permission of Deutsche Grammophon. Recordings from 1976 to 1980, and some other stuff. Well, some things that he didn't record for Deutsche Grammophon, actually. Some of the stuff was, though. We've got, what have we got here? Mozart, Piano Concerto No. 20 with Rudolf Buchbinder. The Mendelssohn Violin Concerto with Salvatore Accardo. Weber's Oberon Overture, the Eroica. Reger's Serenade, Opus 95. Oh, isn't that fun? And Hindemith's Matthäus der Maler Symphony. What a lovely collection of things. I haven't heard these in ages. How many discs was this? 1, 2, 3, I think it's 4 discs. If I'm not mistaken, yes, 4 discs. And there's a self-portrait by Eugen Jochum, which is a re-edition of a Deutsche Grammophon LP. So, he tells his life story when he's conducting Hindemith and Reger. So there you go. Interesting stuff to have on hand. Absolutely, he was a wonderful conductor, Joachim was. And not just in Bruckner, a great Brahms conductor, just a real humanist on the podium. I mean, his music making was organic and life-enhancing, I think is probably the story here. Then we've got, oh, look at this, Antonio Carlos Jobim, Symphonic Works. The symphonic work of Antonio Carlos Jobim, a project by Paolo Jobim and Mario Adnet. Original arrangements by various people, recorded live at Sala Sao Paulo on December 9th and 11th, 2002, with members of the Orquestra Sinfónica do Estado de Sao Paulo under Roberto Minchuk. There we go. It's some really fun stuff. The Brasilia Sinfonia de Alvorada, which is a whole big long thing, and just all kinds of things by Jobim. Wonderful tunes, fun music. I've enjoyed this when it came out and forgot that it even existed, and now I'm glad I know because I can go back and play it again. So that's what I really like about doing this little project here in the Overflow Room, because there's really a lot of stuff that, even you forget about, single discs and things, and you don't even know you have them. And so you go and you look through it, and it's just nifty. Then we've got Brahms and Joachim violin concertos. This is a spare. Rachel Barton Pine. These are very fine performances. You have the Brahms violin concerto and the Joachim Hungarian concerto. The concerto in the Hungarian style, which is absolutely wonderful. This disc actually caused me no small amount of agita. I don't know if I've ever told this story before. I certainly wrote about it at one point. But, oh, wow. This is with the Chicago Symphony, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, under Carlos Kalmar, on CD Records. It's wonderful. She also did, the Beethoven and Clement Concerti on 2 discs. Really a wonderful little mini series. Anyway, what happened with this? Well, I gave this an excellent review because it was quite splendid. And I got this vicious, vituperative, nasty, miserable email from the brother of violinist Aaron Rosand. And Aaron Rosand was a very fine violinist. He really was. But it went screaming about how I praised Rachel Barton Pine and did not discuss Aaron Rosand, who had recorded the Hungarian Concerto, albeit, I believe, with cuts. But I don't remember exactly what the scenario was. But the guy was just out of his mind with rage that I had not discussed his brother's recording, first and foremost and best and whatever of all. I actually have it sitting around somewhere. I mean, it wasn't in there under Joachim, but I know I had it, and because it was on Vox. And I wrote back to him. I said, what is your problem? I mean, basically, that's what I just said. I said, go. Actually, I think I told him to go, choke on his own bile. I think were my exact words. But he was foaming at the mouth and full of hatred for Isaac Stern, who he claimed destroyed Aaron Rosand's career. There was apparently something going on there, but I don't want to get into the politics of it. It was what it was. And I had just reviewed, Rosand made a late recording of the Glazunov Violin Concerto along with the Seasons on Vox. It was a fabulous record, really terrific record. First-class recording of the Seasons and a first-class recording of the Violin Concerto. And Todd Landor was the producer. He's now in the UK, and he does all of those, alto records and all those reissues and things like that. So I was really happy with it. And I gave it basically a rave review, and I didn't hear a word from Aaron Rosand's brother about that. And I wrote back to him. I said, I have nothing against Aaron Rosand. What are you talking about? But he just went completely bonkers. It was a very ugly, unpleasant thing, I have to say. And it certainly wasn't Rachel Barton Pine's fault, because she gives an excellent performance of the Hungarian Concerto, which is a lovely work. Really a lovely work. It deserves to be back in the repertoire. It's big and juicy and symphonic and really, really fun. So that was nice. Then we have Joachim himself, his complete recordings from 1903, and the complete recordings of Pablo de Sarasate from 1904, and select recordings by Eugene Isai from 1912 on Pearl. Now, these are all obviously acoustic recordings from the early days of recording, and you can't really hear very much. And it was fascinating to me because these Joachim recordings were the ones that people, the period performance practice people, the PPPPs, were always pointing to talk about how vibrato was done back in the day. And first of all, Joachim was at the end of his career, and his hands were not working very well. And there are only 5 recordings that he ever made of the Bourrée from the Bach Partita in B minor, the Adagio from the Bach Sonata in G minor, Joachim's own Romance in C major, and 2 Brahms Hungarian dances. Hardly the repertoire that would give you an average of what all violinists in the entire 19th century should have been doing with respect to vibrato. We don't even know if it's characteristic of what Joachim at his prime would have been doing. But oh, the things that were said about these recordings. And then you put them on and you hear yeah, right. And we're supposed to be able to determine performance practice from that. Anyway, I had it because I had to hear it, and I just could not believe what these people were saying and doing. It was just so stupid. But anyway, so that's this little batch. Kind of interesting. Joachim, Jobim, and Joachim, and Jochum, and the people with J's who are pronounced like Y's and things like that. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.